Hi, T.H. Culhane for Solar Cities at the Arava Institute. Dominic's behind the camera. We're going to try to take the challenge of freezing this 1 liter water bottle, or 1.5 liter water bottle, into ice using biogas. Let me show you the experiment that we're doing. We feed it food waste here. Now there's a grinder to grind up things like bones and avocado pits and peach pits and things like that. The food goes down, is pushed down into the stomach of the dragon, and the gas accumulates in this plastic bag. So the digester's down here, it's the stomach, that's a plastic bag, and you can see the tube over here. That orange tube is where the food goes down. The gray tube is where the gas comes up, and then through those blue and green tubes that go into this gas bag here, which has sandbag weights on the top. This has been going for about an hour now. It was a little fuller when we started. And then there's two ways of getting the gas out. One is a tube right here that goes in the wall for the stove. This is the water pipe that you can use to hose down and hose your food in. On the other side here, there's another gas valve here. Now, if I push this down, it would shut off the valve. It's normally closed. This is for releasing gas if you wanted to just vent the gas quickly. I've just opened it slightly because if I open it anymore, the gas pressure from the sandbags is too high. The gas will flare out and it'll go out because it won't pick up enough air. So I've just got it just slightly open, and I've got a garden hose on there, which is running behind the aquaponics setup, and then it's going in through the window right here. The refrigerator is inside the room because it's really windy here in the desert, and the slightest breeze can blow the biogas flame out. That's not good though, because absorption chillers have ammonia and there's a smell, and it's not dangerous, it's just unpleasant. So it's better to be outdoors where there's good ventilation, but for testing with these desert winds, we can't do it. Come on here past the solar cooker and the other living box aquaponics, and we'll go in the earth bag dome house. Now, as we come in here, we see the refrigerator, and if you kneel down here, you can see, actually I can pull it out, you can see this flame here. I don't know if you can see, it's a very, very clean flame, so it's hard to see. That blue-orange flame I've just stuck right under the flue. See, so there's the flame there. And I just put some rocks to hold it in place. And I'm sticking it right under the flue so that the flame can go up this chimney. And then that heats up these coils. Now normally if you had a propane bottle, the propane would be delivered by this pipe here into this starter, which would be under the flue. With an electric starter, and that little flame would be going up there. I removed that. I unscrewed a small screw and I took this thing out because we can't use this for biogas. So I've just stuck the flame in here. Then there's ammonia and water in this chamber right here, a mix of ammonia, water, and hydrogen. And then as this flue heats up, and I can actually feel the heat coming out from here. This is an insulated flue here. As it rises up the chimney, that heat transfers from the chimney here to this pipe here, which is connected to all these here, as you can see from this pipe here. What happens is as it heats up, it draws the mixture of ammonia, water, and hydrogen up and in, and then the ammonia rises up faster than the water, and then as it cools off here and condenses, there's an expansion bulb, goes into the refrigerator. That's where the expansion occurs, which draws heat out of the chamber in here, and then as it condenses, it drips back in here and eventually joins the water again. That's how an absorption chiller works. So it's just the separation of ammonia and water. Hydrogen somehow acts as a medium in between that separation process. I'm not really sure the role of hydrogen, but importantly, there's a little bit of hydrogen in there to help out in that separation of ammonia and water. And it's just the heat creates the pressure that drives the cycle, and it also allows for enough pressure that when the expansion valve is reached, that endothermic reaction of expansion pulls heat out of the chamber in here, and then it cools off through these cooling fins and recondenses from a vapor back into a liquid and rejoins the water. That's an absorption chiller. So if we look on the inside here, the freezer, I guess I'll just take off the door. The freezer has these fins here. And if you put your fingers on them, you'll see they're now cold. I can hold that so Dominic, you can reach your hand in.
Yeah, it's really cold.
Right? So we got some chilling going. So if you wouldn't mind taking that bottle, let's put that bottle inside. Okay. So that's our challenge, cooling that 1.5 liter bottle in the chamber, and then of course we need to close the door. This is not cool at all yet. It's only been running for an hour. This is useless now. This is for the 230 volt. There is a plug on this element, which is here. If you run out of gas, you could plug it in, and then it has a heating coil around this, an electric coil, which would continue heating this pipe so that you could keep the reaction going. So it is a hybrid in that sense, made for if you run out of gas, because you got to keep these things going all the time. And it takes like about an hour to really get going, and 2 hours before you really see any significant cooling. And the door is absolutely trash. It's a terrible door, not very well insulated. And that's another thing. There's a lot of losses because it's not well insulated. But it is working, as you can see. We got the biogas working. Obviously, you don't want to be piling rocks up here. What we need is to make a metal box that is exactly the right height that we can just shove this pipe in. And then I've got this metal tray. I found this outside in the junk pile. I don't want to put the flame, obviously, on a plastic carpet. So I've got it over this metal tray here, which also is keeping this stable because this refrigerator was leaning. And one thing about absorption chillers, they have to be level. They can't be moved around. It's bad for them. So I stabilized the height with this metal tray, and now we have it even. I piled the rocks just so that the pipe here goes in. But once again, you can see, it went out. And that's the worst thing that can happen. Some breeze blows this out, and the whole system shuts down. So let's hope it doesn't cool off in the time it takes to relight this. There, it's lit again. And yeah, that's the problem with them, is keeping that flame lit. And it's hard. They're so clean. Unless it's nighttime, it's really hard to tell if you've got a flame still going. Can you see a flame through the camera? Put it real close and let's see.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see. And that's probably because the door is open. That's why it blew out. So we've got to think of a way to protect this. Maybe if I take this, that'll help to keep it from, yeah, we just won't be able to see it, huh? Unless we really go down. Where can we see it from? I guess you could, if you lie down like this, you can see it. Can you see it from your side?
Yes, I can see the flame.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe this will keep a little bit of breeze away from it. Oh, I think it just went out.
Yes.
Sure
No,
did.
it did. It went out.
Because that window closed. So those are the challenges that we face here. We want to make sure there's no breeze, but then again, when it's indoors, there we go, flip. When it's indoors, you want to have ventilation. So what do? I imagine this window is the problem window because it can blow it out. That one we can keep cracked open, and then hopefully there's not really a way to keep this shut because we got the hose here too. If I do that, then we don't get any gas. So there's a lot of compromises here. Is it still on? Yes, it's still on. All right, well then, let's see if I click this to try to... That's not going to work. figure out a better way to keep the flame from blowing out. So that's the challenges we have. We do encourage you to try this at home. This is, we're on a day where we don't have a lot of tools or a lot of things, so best I can do is run outside, grab a bunch of rocks, and sort of jury rig it together. Obviously, these are trivial problems. It works. You can see it's beginning to cool. It's just a matter of keeping that flame lit, a decent box protecting it, and a better stand to put the pipe in. This is just a garden hose and a metal pipe. That's all we got here. Garden hose and a metal pipe. Nothing harder than that. And a little flame. And you can make the flame as small. This is a bit big for the flame. Just as long as there's a flame to go up that chimney and keep this chimney hot. That's all a absorption chiller does. It can be a very small flame, but if you use a tube smaller than this, and I tried a very thin tube, it tends to go out easier because it doesn't get enough air. So a big tube is nicer, small flame, big tube, and yeah. So we'll come back in a couple of hours and we'll see if we get ice. That will be fun, and we'll see how long the home biogas system can provide for a refrigerator. Thanks a lot.